And the menu suggests a cinnamon roll with your meal.
See how this secant's working out.
Hi, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday
I thought it was
Astronaut.
actually
Welcome
Elon.
to
Right.
Starbase, Texas. This is where SpaceX
No offense,
is building,
buddy.
testing,
No offense,
and even
I'm glad to see you out
launching
here, but
their
because I
Mars-bound
knew this was
rocket,
coming out.
Starship. Today I'm going to take you inside the gates and show you things that have never been shared outside of SpaceX. Best of all, we have the ultimate tour guide, Elon Musk, who answers all of my questions and gives us unbelievable insights to the rocket's development. We talked and walked around for over 2 hours, so I'll be cutting this up into 3 parts. The first 2 are at the Starbase factory, and the last one is at the launch pad. Each section has a gold mine of valuable information, so make sure you're subscribed, you've got your notifications on, and you've got your notepads ready to jot some notes. Now, heads up, we talk about some pretty advanced concepts and subject matter that can be pretty intimidating on first listen, but don't worry, I've got you covered with lots of informational videos here on my channel. So perhaps if you're new to Starship, or really all of this stuff,
this is going to go after
the
marshmallow roast.
That'll be a really good overview for you for some of the things that we talk about here in this conversation.
Somebody's resume.
And I'll also be linking to some of my other videos that will help
I didn't know
out
if I
with
wanted
some
to
of
do
the
the one
stuff
where
that we
it's
talk about as well. Now you might
Sweet
notice
Caroline,
we
or if they're playing Led Zeppelin.
quite a bit in this conversation. Maybe it's because I was wearing my new
how to roast the marshmallow perfectly. And he did the golden brown, little flamey on the first run, got it off, second layer inside there, nice golden brown marshmallow at the control
and that
fire
video is
pit.
currently in the works, and it will be out
He roast
when
the
it's
marshmallow.
done. And one last thing, this video is broken up into sections, and we have links in the description for those sections. We also will occasionally be putting up a little map, courtesy of Ring Watchers on Twitter, that will help you keep your bearings as we're walking around. I think that'll help quite a bit.
Which is my point.
And we also
like,
have an article
where's the
version
Fed?
of kind of our
What's the Fed
conversations
doing
and the key
today?
points that we bring up over at everydayastronaut.com. There is a link in the description.
Well, that's your team?
Well,
one way or the other,
enough
they
talking.
monkey.
Let's go hang out with Elon.
So the camera, the camera,
triple body problem.
and then somebody else has the camera.
It's just camera envy at this point. He's just trying to, he saw me with this and he's like, listen.
I'll get my camera out.
Yeah, you take a video of me.
I can take a video of this, of you guys taking a
Then you
video.
get over and make sure this is going through
That's why we
there.
have
Just shoot the
Legionnaires.
screen the
They
whole
good
time.
with the camera.
I don't want
Okay.
anything
They just got
All right, so this
yesterday.
Okay, so this is
They were talking about like almost a lawsuit. It was like venomous reptiles, or basically pythons, or Burmese pythons in Florida Everglades, law being written about it around there. And the guy's like, look, they're just out there getting clickbait, and that's what the stock is. That's what somebody would say under the calculus form of hitting the snowflake a couple of ways gets me that brick on the wall. And that's fine, because the real estate turns into the limit under the process of getting one up there. Just numbers of magnetism, mentions of spacecraft, but there's a legacy of abuse behind that, which is real hard to quantify, because they're going to say, well, left-hand rule being the devil would actually be Neil Armstrong, and that's what an astronaut is, and a Navy SEAL astronaut, given certain organic chemistries and what this is. Your numbers have it, dead nuts. Where are they? If the model is limited to a Legionnaire, then inside of there, that parking lot starts to correlate time and distance over these geodesic actions, spooky distances. And if they don't,
therefore, I'd say it is harder certainly than any single.
I say it should be fine, but like I said, you know, it's adjustment of astrophysicists to Common Core in the culture right now. We got to figure out the skipjack in here, get the meth addicts over to fucking Paris Island, let a heroin addict drop before you give him Narcan. Mike the cop talking about some guy come out here. Let's build a snowflake right now. Gun raised, double murder in town today. Give them the graph on certain things of how the correct standard should go in FMA objects. What's the average on those things at action spooky distances to cosecant inside of here? We graph that. It says output can GPT-3 that in an end state. It takes on a bunch of them at once in the limited program for what it does and what we do with it to output it. All kinds of money falling out of that pinata.
Effort have we put into, say, designing
all kinds of working jewels in the marshmallow seeking.
It's 10 to 100 times more effort to design the manufacturing
GPT-3 make me a master mason. It's like I hit them with a computer programmer, I need them to know working skills under the sector, I need them to do this, what's the output on the book? If it's limited to a book and they can get books by the program, I can at least put that book in hand and say, well, what they consider a number of electromagnetisms in this group, right? But we have no base in the system. I mean, if it is this, it's all screwed up. It's totally whack on the scale, so you would bits have bytes. Zeros and ones, you know.
This is like just very fundamentally underappreciated. If people have not been in manufacturing, especially manufacturing of something that's relatively new,
well, it's
they
all
don't understand, and they think
radioactive.
design is the hard part,
It's,
and they think production is like
fusion,
or
E0 to
like
E1,
right. So
and any step at all points in time. They have all have graphs index over long terms of compiling through. Stone mill bosses make it. They do. They make it all the time. Union Lodge, Lodge-Stick. Yeah, it's a mess.
I can't emphasize enough. I'm trying to correct the misperception that design is the hard part. It is not the hard part.
Like I said, it becomes a Stanford School M2 to it, but they're they're not doing N1/2 in the class. It's like too much. You're gonna be this type of teacher. C can't that version. C is the average where they start to a hard test on the average. Most of them get it. Some have to train down by the lower students in the class with speed problems that pass through Penn's Row that actually determine its time position. And well, not directly. Like I'm not going back in time and pull some time paradox stuff. One way or the other, you can do that on the stone mill floor and ramp that up with training in a 90-day phase. Say in the stone mill, like do it, and then on 190 days or 180 days, you should have your 90 pages done in your mass gap. About 90 different skills you have in here, 100 different ways it can kill you picking vernier. There's the skid steer, you get your finger pinched inside of there. In a universe, you'd start to drop off. The turnover rate's on the long end of what OSHA should be doing, graphing those guys watching those skid steers instead of other things for the NASA 11 bullets, 60-pound bolt falling 60 feet on a dude with a white hat.
It's okay if it doesn't feel quite right.
Woo!
We're still...
Yeah, I mean, we definitely don't want to... the fundamental thing that needs to be fixed is the cost per ton to orbit. Yeah. So things that
I like Space
address the
Marines
cost per ton to orbit are good.
and Warhammer. I mean, the esoterics on this one, straight up eschatology. I went back, I caught it here. That was when I did it. That's when somebody else did it. Demon Core usually comes through. I make a big plate, 66 1/3 on the plate when it hits. It's risk index on things, the teams, vector positions, keeping that in the pipe because it's very small electron. Being E in this rocket ship traveling through the upper atmosphere, coming down in the South Korean or South Chinese Sea.
Well, and if you're working on getting the cost, even when you're starting to think of it as dollars,
heart rate. Either just stop for somebody or that thing, everything in the middle. It's like that saw piece right there.
New thing that I've never thought about, never considered. Well, and then even
one of them, I saw one of them, it was right there, I think. He had the right look on him. Could ZBrush it real good, a couple of clicks.
Circle area. You're also worried about the nozzle exit to thrust ratio as being a...
Well, then I hit him with this. I need you to put this in orbit for me, buddy.
You basically end up filling up all the area under the rocket.
Touche.
So with this version, we have 29 engines.
Well, like I said, you'll understand when you watch that marshmallow roasting video of theirs.
I'm not sure having this many things beep is actually helpful.
Oh, that's the bells. Oh, the saw is perfect right there. She's just cutting away, hammering it out.
So it's pretty silly.
Nobody's squeaking, so
So this is the nose of booster 4.
they're good.
Yeah, this is basically, that's the
Oppenheimer, I swear, Heisenberg, if you get in here, I'm gonna mess you up.
Wow.
Strap you to this thing.
Yeah.
What are the little... So obviously those are where the grid fins go, right?
Yeah.
And then what's the thing in between them?
No, in itself, that theory is very good. It's a thought experiment on negative one. For who gets that, who kicks in the class. Now, I'm 100% sure this is what motion potential Heisenberg. He was probably a monkey that eat and do things about the certainty on feeding Schrodinger's cat. Or one way or the other there. Am I gonna make it? I mean, yeah, I don't know, buddy. It's rough out here being a mathematician.
But it's actually not that small at close up. This thing's just high in the air. like all your sense of perspective is wrong. Yeah. And when this lands,
Is it a cat? Is it a dragon?
it has
I
like
don't know.
basically the density of a beer can.
Nice.
Right. An empty beer can.
Right. What is the
With like some mass.
The Feynman is going to give you a technique that teaches you, when you watch Feynman putting two sticks together with a cigarette hanging back in his mouth, walking across the board, finally writing one up there, engaging students. Two sticks, make a fusion.
The mass is a moving target, so you also have to say, like, what are your propellant residuals when you land? That's a big deal.
Union ball stuff.
Like both,
Well, it's not
how
the
much
big,
oxygen
it's
will
the
you
little.
have,
Like I said,
and,
when I use this
what you wanna
droid
use
as
for
GPT-3,
propellant.
and I
Like, you can't just
smoke
go to 0
Elon
miles
about
and
not
direct,
programming
like,
because
get
he'll
a
kill me,
trigger.
probably.
So,
More than likely, the probability on that goes far, but he's missing the kids, and there's a big market on it. There's the meth addict. There's, what do you mean the meth addict? Meth addicts use computers. Get a droid. Start figuring this out for your Facebook timeline. It's not the Elon timeline, it's your Facebook timeline, just as a, make sure things are square there. I can use that as national security, salty programming, recruiter pages on this guy's concept. And if it feeds into this by a model of O-type, or that's still, I need an O-type, or I needed a spike of compositions in reaction under certain liquid fuel, solid state fuel, cylinder strength inside here, material compositions, and I got probably somebody that does just that in the thing, and I can put all those things in a straight line, photon, polarized, index that pushes it, and make money out of time, make money out of space. Like, what do you mean? Well, look what we got here. Another cheer. These are tractor forces for sure. Blockchain, you get hooked onto it. Because if this got into something we found out, like, oh, they're actually having a safety brief of the next movement in there, and the engineering of that becomes super critical for something like this,
we have batteries that are
you would have to do
energy
those
optimized instead of power
beep
optimized.
beep,
So,
step step on my day, gets me from here to here, show up on time. We had the guy set the tone. You're 20 minutes late every day, and I'm firing you. You know, you get an accident and you couldn't show up. You show up to the office that day, like, they fired a bunch of people. No, I was in a car accident. These things are different. Gravity comes first inside here. It's not just going to be cut them out and kick them out. That was one from the other day.
Probably
No,
dropped
no.
by maybe a factor of 10. So
Beer cans,
that's just one example.
Klein bottles.
Should we back up a little bit so it's a little less clanging? Yeah. And everyone trying to get their cranes in there and do work.
Hey, what are you doing with your YouTube right here? What did you market that as? No. You're gonna need to slip me a 20 or something, buddy.
That residuals number is a bit